Detective Sergeant Nigel Cowie pulled his coat tighter against the biting North Sea wind as he and DC Yasmin Hassan made their way along the treacherous clifftop path near Banff. 20 years on the force had taught him to trust his instincts, and something about this case made the hair on the back of his neck stand on end. 3 disappearances in as many months, all from this same stretch of coastline. No bodies, no evidence. Just abandoned vehicles in the car park and unanswered questions. "Sarge," Yasmin called out, her voice nearly lost in the gathering storm. "Look there!" Through the misty drizzle, a figure stood motionless at the cliff's edge, its outline blurred and strangely translucent against the darkening sky. The person, if it was a person, wore what appeared to be old-fashioned clothing and stood completely still despite the strengthening wind. "Hello," Nigel called out, quickening his pace. "Police! Please step back from the edge." Lightning crackled across the sky, illuminating the scene in stark white. In that brief flash, Nigel could have sworn the figure turned to look at them, but with an empty space where a face should have been. And quick as a flash, literally the figure was gone. Yasmin grabbed his arm. Did you see that?" "Aye," he replied, "though I'm not sure what we saw." They reached the spot where the ghostly figure had stood. The grass showed no signs of footprints, despite the muddy conditions. But there, caught on a thorny gorse bush, was a scrap of fabric, ancient-looking, with a pattern Nigel recognized from historical photographs in the station's cold case files. "This matches the description of Margaret Dunbar's dress," he said quietly, "the woman who disappeared here in 1963. Thunder rolled overhead as Yasmin shone her torch down the cliff face. "Sarge, there's something down there, in that crevice." Within hours, a search team had recovered human remains from the narrow fissure, not just one body, but 3. And beneath them all, the skeletal remains of a woman in a decomposed dress, perfectly matching the scrap in Nigel's evidence bag. As they drove back to the station, Yasmin broke their thoughtful silence. "Do you think she was trying to help us find them?" Nigel glanced at the scrap of fabric on the dashboard, then at the clearing sky. 20 years on this job, and some questions are better left unanswered," he replied.